Welcome into the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. I know I am here in the Chat Sports Studios. We got some news and rumors items to catch you guys up on. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Orlando Brown contract extension latest. Well, report from Mike Garafolo yesterday is that the Chiefs and Brown's reps, I should say, are expected to start a dialogue, get those negotiations going sooner rather than later. He, of course, is under the franchise tag as of now, but even when they signed him to that, the expectation was to get a long-term deal done at some point in time. And now that the draft is behind us, I think there's no time like the present, right? I think getting that done sooner rather than later makes a lot of sense because it would also create some cap room for this year, which would allow Brett Veach and company to maybe go out and make another move or two if they wanted to. I fully expect Orlando Brown to be on a new contract before training camp because quite frankly, if he's not, I might consider holding out if I'm Orlando Brown at the end of the day. He's an anchor on this offensive line. He's 24, 25 years old. You traded for him for a reason, so getting him done to a long-term deal just makes way too much sense because if you don't, what are you going to do at left tackle? You're going to put Darian Kinnard over there? I don't think that's going to be the answer. Not that there's any risk of that not happening and him not playing, but I just think in terms of the timeline of it, getting him inked to a new deal by training camp just makes way too much sense for both parties. I thought last year, even though he gave up 4 sacks, that he improved a lot throughout the season. Remember, he was coming from a power rushing attack in Baltimore to more of a spread it out, throw it, still run the ball, but different scheme, totally different offense. Once he got used to things, he played a lot better the second half of the season. I think he's going to be here for a long time, and I think he's going to get over $20 million per year. Do not be shocked if it's $22, $23 million per year for Orlando Brown on a 3, 4, maybe even a 5-year contract. So let's ask you, will Orlando Brown get a deal done before training camp? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Will the ink dry on the paper for Orlando Brown before training camp? Get your votes in. This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so reply right there. Let's talk Melvin Ingram now as the Chiefs used the UFA tender on him late yesterday, which basically means, I'll just give you the simplified explanation of it. They've got a 1 year, $4.4 million contract on the table for Ingram. That's 110% of the value of his deal last year, which was just under $4 million, I believe, on that 1-year deal. So he's got a sitting offer of $4.4 million from Kansas City. If he signs elsewhere, the Chiefs will get a compensatory draft pick. If not, he'll play under that $4.4 million contract in 2022, which, quite frankly, I think is a pretty fair deal for both sides. I thought Ingram did some good things last year, but I don't know if he played so well that he could go get $7-8 million from another team. Maybe he could get 5 or 6, but if he can get $5 million from a lesser team or play for 4.4 on a contender like Kansas City, doesn't that make sense to take a little less if you're Melvin Ingram? He's already made a ton of money in his career, but maybe he wants to get top dollar elsewhere. But again, I'm not convinced he'd get that much more on the open market. Last year between Pittsburgh and Kansas City, only 2 sacks, but I thought he played a lot better than that. 11 quarterback hits. He got pretty good pressure, and he had one of his better years as a run stopper in the last several years, which I thought was impressive. I still can't get that play out of my head where he blew up. Who's the running back for the Broncos? Javonte Williams, and scooped and scored for Nick Bolton going the other way. That completely changed that game. That was all Melvin Ingram. I thought he played really well. And I think with the full year in this system, he could give you 4 or 5, maybe even 6 sacks. And, it also takes the pressure off rookie George Karlaftis. You could start Melvin Ingram there. Karlaftis could be kind of your 3 edge rusher who could also kick inside on passing downs as a rookie. You could move him around and not feel like you just have to start him on the edge from day one. Now, I would still like to see Brett Veach in this front office go out and take a swing at Jadeveon Clowney in free agency. There's been a lot of buzz that he's going to simply re-sign with the Browns, but until that happens, I would explore. I would see what's out there, and what could help you do that is signing Orlando Brown to that long-term contract, lower that cap hit for this year, gives you some more money and flexibility to go out and target a guy like Clowney in free agency. But that's the latest on Ingram. I'd say it's at least 50-50 that he'll be back next season, and and I would like that because I thought he did pretty well after the Chiefs traded for him at last year's trade deadline. Do you want Melvin Ingram back? Type B for back, yes you do. Type P for pass, no you don't. Do you want Melvin Ingram back in Kansas City? Cast your votes in down below. Now, Chiefs Kingdom, we are beating Raider Nation in Rumble followers because, hey, you guys bring the heat when it comes to that stuff. But I want to pull away from Mitchell Renz and the Raiders Report. We're almost at 2,000 followers on Rumble at just under 1,900. The Raiders Report's at just over 1,600. Help us out. Uncensored Chiefs content over there as we continue to expand our profile here on the Chiefs Report. Support the channel if you've already followed or subscribed here on YouTube. Easy way to support us as well. Follow us on Rumble. Link down below. Rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Make it a combination. Gotta beat the Raiders Report to 2,000 followers. Let's talk Justyn Ross now, who signed that UDFA deal with Kansas City just a couple of days ago on Monday. And Brett Veach came out and talked about this addition and said, hey, he's cleared from a medical standpoint. Here's kind of a elongated quote from Veach saying this, quote, "We've spent a lot of time, and I know our doctors at the University of Kansas Health System spent a lot of time talking to the experts that dealt with Justyn, and he's cleared. I know how good our medical staff is, both Vice President of Sports Medicine and Performance Rick Burkholder and his crew and the docs we have at KU. If they tell me yes, I feel good. If they tell me no, I don't try to become a doctor all of a sudden and try to say, well, this team said this. No, if our docs say we're good, and Rick and his staff said we are good." Clearly, Kansas City, Brett Veach, feel good about the medical evaluations they've done on Justyn Ross. And I think it was safe to assume that once they signed him. You're not going to sign a player that doesn't pass your medical evaluations. It just doesn't make sense, even for an undrafted free agent. Now, him being cleared doesn't mean he's going to be peak Justyn Ross from early in his college career, but I think it is important that those medical boxes were checked and that he's at least to go on that front. So we'll talk a little bit more about him in a moment and how he could fit on this roster. But like we said, follow us on Rumble. Also subscribe on YouTube. We are less than 150 subscribers from 30,000. That's a huge milestone here on YouTube. I want to be the next channel at Chat Sports that crosses that threshold. So help us out. If you're a part of Chiefs Kingdom, we publish daily videos here on the Chiefs Report. I ask you guys to please hit that big red button and subscribe. It's 100% free. You will not regret doing just that. All right, you look back at Justyn Ross's college career, which 2018 and 19 were his first 2 years, missed 2020, and then came back in 2021. 2018 and 19 were where I'd say about 85% of his college statistics were. Last year had about 500 yards, wasn't as good. Now, he also played with DJ Uiagalelei last year, and he was terrible compared to Trevor Lawrence early in his career. But the big reason he wasn't drafted and why teams were concerned were because in 2020, when he missed all of that year, he had that spinal fusion surgery. And, I mean, you start talking about neck and back issues, a surgery to, kind of keep those bones together. That's going to rub teams off. They're not going to have phrasing there. Matthew Pederson, was inspiring me with that one, but at the same time, that's a tricky one to get cleared on. And now, again, Brett Veach says their doctors have cleared him, but just understand that he did not look like the same player after that. But you bring him into camp, you see what he's got. I'm curious to see what he can do. Maybe you get like a redshirt year out of him where you stash him on the practice squad this year and he gets to sit back behind players like Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman. You drafted Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Josh Gordon, I think, could be a good resource for him, a guy who's been through a lot in his career. Different type of things, obviously, but the good thing for Justyn Ross is he doesn't need to come in and produce right away. They've got a lot of depth at this position. So I don't think it's critical for him to, make the 53-man roster. But I want to know if he will. What do you guys think? Will Justyn Ross be on this team's 53-man roster in 2022? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. I would guess probably no, but hey, if he does, that means that he showed a lot of good things throughout this offseason. Speaking of rookies, rookie minicamp gets going this Saturday, May 7th through Monday, May 9th. We'll see how much Justyn Ross does at that, but all the draft picks, all the undrafted free agents will report to Chiefs camp, their facilities, and I'm excited to see these rookies out there. Throw on some jerseys, t-shirts and t-shirt and shorts. It's not going to be, guys, hitting each other or anything like that, but still exciting when you get to see the rooks in person for the first time. To recap the draft picks, we'll get to see these guys this weekend. Drip McDuffie, George Karlaftis, the round 1 picks, the second round picks of Sky Moore and Brian Cook, and then, of course, Leo Chenal, Josh Williams, Darian Kennard, who I thought was one of the steals of the draft, Jalen Watson, Isaiah Pacheco, and Nazeeh Johnson. They'll all suit up, assuming they're healthy, and we'll get to see the undrafted free agents as well, including Clemson wide receiver Justyn Ross. That all gets going on Saturday through Monday, May the 9th. Which rookie are you most excited for? Excited to see not only this weekend, but in this season as well? Let us know what you guys think on that front. I'm curious to see a lot of these guys play because I think Brett Veach had a really good draft. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Chiefs Report. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, locking in, and sticking with us throughout the video. If you made it this far in the video, follow me on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL, at HGramNFL, and we'll see you next time here on YouTube and on Rumble.